We are continuing to talk about support teams and the different components of that and what's the advantages and disadvantages of a support team. We've talked about people who need care, many people with health care issues and other kinds of needs, people who want to care but there are some barriers for them getting involved in different ways, and what we're suggesting, of course, is the team approach or support team as a way to address practical, emotional, and spiritual needs. So what we want to do today or in this video, is to really talk about the people who want to care and what are the advantages for them, where do we find them, and what do they do, or why should they be involved, or why would they want to be. And so there's a word that I've always taken for granted, knowing what this was or is, called a volunteer. A volunteer is a person who performs a service, some type of service, willingly and without pay. So we'll just put willingly, because they would like to do that, and without pay. And so when we're talking about a volunteer, I thought everybody really knew what a volunteer is, and they're all over the world. But when I was teaching a class about support teams to a group of folks in Zimbabwe many years ago, and helping them understand what we were trying to do here with support teams with people with HIV disease, it was a new concept for them. At least the term volunteer, the word volunteer was. And what I discovered was neighbors, really extended family, did a lot of what we talk about here in the U.S. The reason we want and need volunteers here in the U.S. is many of us are very mobile, and we live and we're dispersed throughout the country. So we need more help when healthcare issues come up from other people. So there are some barriers that I would have observed over the years that people run into when you start talking about volunteers. And volunteers generally have a few things that they're concerned about in getting involved. There are things they're afraid, a volunteer is afraid, I'm going to be asked to do that I don't feel comfortable doing. So I'm afraid that if I volunteer, I'm going to be asked to do some things that I'm not really good at, or I really don't want to do it. Second, another barrier, if you will, we'll put barrier right here. Another barrier for persons who want to care is that I'm afraid all of this will depend on me. I'll get in over my head. We'll put over my head, that it will be more to do than I can possibly do myself. A third thing that comes up as a barrier we see with a lot of folks who, when we first start talking about support teams, it is that what happens when, I don't really have 3 hours every week that I can give. And so time is a big barrier. People are afraid and don't really have the time sometimes to give the same amount of time every single week. And then fourth, I'll just list, what if I need to stop? How do I do that, without feeling terrible? So how do I stop doing this once I've said I will do it? And so if I was going to volunteer, I would address each one of those, and I would want those to be something like this. So a volunteer, or a person who serves on a support team, let's just address them one at a time very quickly. I would love to do what I would like to do. In other words, what I feel comfortable doing. So I would do what I love. In other words, what's easy for me? What's something that I really enjoy doing for another person? For instance, I'm more than willing to drive somebody to the doctor if I have the time. But if I am asked to cook a meal, I'm a little bit out and I need some help there. Okay, so a second thing, first thing, I want to do the things that I love to do and that I want. The things that I want to do if I'm going to be involved as a volunteer. Second, I want it to be real clear that I can't do it all, and so I need to depend on others, or at least share that care. Depend on others, and that's what the team is all about, and so that it all doesn't fall just on me. Thirdly, I would list that it needs to be time flexible. Time flexible, and by this what I mean is I may be able to do it, help out an hour or two this week, but next week that's not going to work because of my schedule. So it needs to be very time flexible, and a lot of people will ask, well, how long do I have to keep doing this? And the answer to that is for as long as you'd like to do it. And so that leads to the fourth thing, that when or how can I get off the team if I need to without guilt. And what I would call, ideally, if you're going to volunteer, we want something that's guilt-free. And so what we do and suggest on support teams is just to say, anytime you want to leave, just let the team leader know that you're not going to be able to do this any longer. And if you're able to, let the person know that you're caring for, that you're not going to be able to continue on the team and how much you've enjoyed being on the team, but other team members will pick up where you have left off and thank them for being involved in the opportunity for the relationship. So the team then, or the leader, should always say, we've learned, if somebody wants to drop off, you just give them an open door. You say, thanks for all you've done. If you ever want to come back, please let us know. None of this, oh, please stay on a little longer. What's wrong? What did we do? Just treat people like adults and say it's guilt-free. If you want to leave, thanks for what you've done. If you want to come back, just let us know. So if you're going to volunteer on a support team, do what you can. Nothing more, nothing less. Do what you love. Depend on others on the team. Make it time flexible and guilt-free. It'll be a great experience.